My name's Patricia Billigan, and I just come out here. The sun is hardly up. Sun's hardly up, and you know, it's not up. It's not up, but it's just that I'm just going to explain this because I'm just going to explain this because no one's going to believe it. But the sun is just hardly up, like it's although it is now getting to be winter time, so therefore the sun comes up late. Planes have been going over for about an hour. But I didn't want to speak, and I'm come inside because next door came out, and this is just an interesting point too. Coincidence, or is it part of a surveillance program? Of course, I've no doubt, but I have to pretend, even for this video, that basically you have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt when there is no doubt. In other words, you have 100% evidence of a crime being committed. You've seen the crime, you've witnessed it, you've seen the faces, but you can't prove it. That particular person came out as soon as I came out. Also, the plane went over my head as soon as I came out. But that particular person is new into next door neighbourhood, shall we say. But it's interesting that I have very irregular hours, like I get up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, or I can get up at 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 in the afternoon. My particular waking and sleeping hours are all over the place. They're different every few days. Normal people, there again, I'm only pointing this out, but normal people will get up if they're doing work. Like that particular gentleman had an orange jacket on, orange and the bright green. The very bright colours are worn by most of the army operatives in the area. But this particular individual gets up. I got up at 1 o'clock in the morning. The sun is now just coming up, but I've been up for many hours trying to avoid, because they can't make as much noise. But that particular individual gets up and bangs around at the same time. Whatever time I get up, the neighbours around here always get up at the same time and go to bed about the same time. That's because they're part of a surveillance team. And the only reason I can prove that is because otherwise, if I had regular hours, like if I got up at say 4 or 5 in the morning every morning, and they did, you might say, well, that could be normal hours. But when you actually can see that you're getting up at a totally different time every day, 1 o'clock one day, 3 o'clock the next, 5 the next, day and night, all different, every single hour of every 24 thing, they get up at exactly the same time. No normal human being, unless they were patrolling you and part of this surveillance team, which is basically the whole suburb of Leichhardt, would do that. That's how you know. That's how I can tell when new people come into the area, and particularly if they're right next door, you can tell 10 that you can then tell that they're surveilling you. Also, I'm going to make the point about the noise where the gentleman, part of the workforce, offered me earplugs. He had huge things over his ears, like huge like great big things over his ears, that block out 100% sound, all the workmen around here, even when they're doing just regular maintenance of the street, much less when they're doing major constructions, which are all staged and set up. When I came out and was showing the oppressive, unreasonable, unnatural, destructive sound that comes into this house, when the workforce comes in, and they'll be in about another hour or two, I would imagine. As soon as that sun comes up, 7 o'clock, they'll be here. That's what that gentleman gave me while he had. That's why I say it's pretend actors pretending to help when you bring up the dreadful sound, because they have to pretend to be reasonable, normal, natural human beings, which they're not. They're part of an oppressive, suppressive, anti-life, anti-human program, and they're deliberately making unnecessary noise and repeating it too. So, they make water into the construction so that a construction that should be over now is going to go on for another few months, so they can keep the frequency and vibration sound system around me going. And it's right next door. 2 major constructions right next door. Digging up the street, digging up the footpath, digging up the whole concrete, using mechanical, technical sounds to suppress and make me angry. And see, if I use these little plugs that they gave me, which I have, to block out the sound that they're creating, it doesn't block out hardly any sound at all, because they've got these huge headphones on their ears so they can't hear a single thing. That's what they give me to block out the sound. It blocks out only a small amount. I can still hear it. And as I've been sound suppressed and sound sensitised over the last 7 years, where everywhere I go in the suburb of Leichhardt, I'm followed by this suppressive sound system, whether it be all the vehicles making the excessive noise as they go past, or all these stage set up work programs, or the planes going over the roof, I'm just trying to make a point here. The sun is nearly coming up. It's not quite up yet. It's still like, the street light's still on, but the birds are coming around. And there's a crow on the, the cross, which is really the cross of the chosen enlightened one that came to start up the human race again. And basically every time they send human beings to start up the human race, or at least human beings manage to keep their numbers up, then their numbers are eliminated by the suppressive other beings, the others, which basically outnumber humanity by huge amounts in the Earth Matrix. This is something that most people don't want to accept or don't see, but then again, I only see it because they've surrounded me with it at this late stage in my life. Because here I am at this late stage in my life. Yes, it's very cold, so I got a beanie on, but at this late stage in my life, because basically I was unaware of this oppressive system around me. And don't forget that they're watching, they hear what I'm saying, so they don't have to send the patrol force onto the street until I stop recording. Because they're connected to my mind, they have total surveillance everywhere. That street light that is there actually can see me. Mind you, they're connected to my transhuman implant in my head anyway. That means in my head there is actually an implant. Here comes the first patrol car onto the street and the sun has not even come up. See how it's still got its lights on? And of course it has the bright red, Lucifer's bright red lights on the back. That's the god that they worship, and the powers that be that control Earth all worship this god or this entity, which is essentially an artificial intelligent computer system. That's actually what it is, because it's an artificially intelligent computer mind that is this being's line. See how this patrol car just come right up and back? See how it's slowing up in front of me? In fact, it's almost stopped. In fact, it has stopped. See, it's a patrol vehicle. See how it stopped in front and now it's moved along as if to say we're surveilling you. And here comes the surveillance aircraft, pretending to be a regular passenger plane. It's a military aircraft disguised as a passenger plane over my head. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. sorry about that, but I nearly fell over putting the mobile up to film it over my head, because it's rather hard at my age to keep my mobility, because basically when you're surrounded by vehicles, even on this small dead-end street, this small dead-end street will come alive in another hour with the workforce. See how we've got major construction going on here outside? It will be really loud, and that's why I say they give you the false earplugs. The gentleman out here that was part of that suppressive work system gives you the fake earplugs that don't block out nothing, while they've got these huge megaphones covering their ears with every bit of work they do all over the suburb. But at any rate, I'm number 3. I live at number 3, 34 to 36 Henry Street, in the suburb of Leichhardt, in the city of Sydney, in the country of Australia. And basically I live in a technical suburb pretending to be a natural suburb. Like I say, it's supposed to be a suburb where they care about life and about nature, but actually that's just a facade or a camouflage hiding the technical nature and the true reality that they're a total technical race of beings, a total technical species that is using surveillance systems and using every individual android in the suburb to basically watch, patrol and suppress what I call real life, because essentially real life is anything that has humanity in it. But as you can see, there's no humanity in these aircraft that are surveilling me. See how it's going to go through the light, that surveillance aircraft? That surveillance aircraft can actually see me extremely close up, even though it is in my line of sight as soon as I swung round. So these planes are following me round, and it went through that light. Actually, that sky is going to be quite pretty there for once, just before this suppressive system starts up. Look, there's a bit of colour coming there. Yeah, a bit of colour. So it means it might be a bit warm today. It's actually spitting rain out here, even low. I wasn't aware of that, but it is actually spitting rain. But it looks as though it's going to be warmer, and yet of course it's quite cold, because it's June now, so that means it's midwinter now for the city of Sydney in the country of Australia. And oh dear, see, I'm disorientated. See, the birds are on the wire there, but that's all right. I'm going to film the birds on the wire. They don't bother me. The birds on the wire. The birds on the wire. Oh, geez, I have to watch where I'm walking. I nearly tripped over myself because, see, I'm out of sync, because basically all this surveillance around me, these patrollers, even today, I'll have to go out into it, and that means then they can really start it up, and they'll be starting up the workforce very soon here. And that's basically the patrol plane is coming at me as I speak. My line of sight here where I am, where I'm looking here, a surveillance plane is going to come right over my head. Can you see it looming and coming up with its bright lights? Unfortunately, the mobile doesn't pick this up anywhere near as distinctly as my eyes. But here it comes after me. It is literally an army aircraft pretending to be a civilian plane. Over my head, everywhere I go. Over my head. Straight over my head. Straight over my head. And I'm going to stop the video here because but that's actually quite pretty there now. But see, I can't enjoy it because I'm surrounded by the surveillance aircraft, and very soon the patrol force will invade. The army workforce will not only patrol but completely invade the street very soon. As soon as that sun comes right up, which it's not quite come up yet, it comes up over there, but it hasn't come up yet. But as you can see, the sky is brightening. The birds are here because it's early morning, but the planes are overhead. So I've had a couple of hours quiet before they are able to completely come in around me everywhere. There's another plane lurking somehow. I can hear the noise. Plane aircraft is looming somewhere around, but it must be hiding through the clouds. Oh, there's starting to be spits of rain. It may even rain again today, even though that sky looks as though it's starting to brighten up. But I better stop the video because I'm wasting the recording, because I'm not meant to be just filming a pretty sky, unfortunately. I should be able to just film the sky